This is Chris with AEW's like, subscribe to TNT Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris with AEW's, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my AEW Dynamite January 25th, 2023 reviews. So here we go, discussing about Dynamite. Now, we kick off the show with the first match of the night. It was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara with Daniel Garcia at ringside. The Jericho Appreciation Society versus Ricky Starks and Action Andretti in a tag team match. In this match, it was a pretty good match. Jericho and Starks going at it a lot of times in this match. At one point, we see Starks hit the Rochambeau onto Chris Jericho outside the ring, taking him out for the rest of the match. And then it looked like Action Andretti was going to handle Sammy Guevara. He had him up on his shoulders up until Guevara starts grabbing the ropes and stuff. Action lets him go. Referee was distracted because of Guevara, because she was checking on Guevara, and then we see Daniel Garcia get on the apron, hitting Action in the face with a baseball bat, and then Guevara pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara defeated Action Andretti and Ricky Starks tonight in a tag team match. That's what happened. Pretty good match. I give that match 3 stars. That's why I'll give it a pretty good match to kick off the show. So yeah, that's what happened there. Or I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then they started announcing some matches. Up next, we're going to be seeing Darby Allin defending the TNT Championship up against Buddy Matthews up next. Not only that, later on tonight in the main event, we will see Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal 1-on-1 in the main event. That will be happening later on tonight. A tribute to Jay Briscoe, which sadly passed away last week. Rest in peace. And they showed an amazing video package of Jay Briscoe. His career, in Ring of Honor stuff, because he was in there like right when it started and pretty much up until it somewhat ended. So yeah, just great stuff. About time Warner Brothers actually let AEW show a tribute package for Jay Briscoe and actually allowing Mark Briscoe to actually compete, because Warner Brothers, I swear to God, that's just a stupid company where they deal with stuff like that. But other than that, it's whatever. But yeah, that'll be the main event later on tonight. And up next, we're going to be seeing Darby Allin versus Buddy Matthews for the TNT Championship up next. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was the TNT Champion Darby Allin versus Buddy Matthews 1-on-1 for the TNT Championship. Now, Sting was at ringside for Darby Allin's match, but during this match, we've seen Malachi Black and Brody King actually make their way down there as well. And then we see Ortiz coming up, fighting them, and then Sting fought with them as well, taking them backstage. So yeah, they couldn't interfere no more. And it was a pretty good match between Darby Allin and Buddy Matthews. It was going back and forth and everything. Matthews coming close a little bit. At one point, they was on the top turnbuckle. Matthews was trying to hit like a superplex onto him up until Darby reverses it into the Scorpion Death Drop onto him. He pins him, but when he was pinning him, one of Matthews' foot was underneath the ropes. And Darby had to move out the way, and he goes for the pin, but it wasted too much time because Matthews kicked out at 2. And then Matthews was on the apron. Darby was on the second turnbuckle, and he starts slapping Matthews and stuff and kicks him in the face. Matthews hangs over the second rope, and then Darby climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with a coffin drop onto Buddy Matthews' back, and then he pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Darby Allin defeated Buddy Matthews tonight and has retained the TNT Championship. That's what happened. Really good match. I give that match 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. Really good match, though. And then after that match, we see Tony Schiavone coming up, interviewing Darby Allin, talking about how you have 4 title defenses and you beat Samoa Joe and all that. So how do you feel? And then as soon as he was going to speak, we see Samoa Joe pop up on the big screen talking about is Darby Allin's death sentence, and he's going to pretty much get back the TNT Championship. So yeah, that's what Samoa Joe was pretty much saying. So yeah, he's not done with Darby Allin just yet. But yep, that's what happened there. Like I said, I give that match 3.5 stars. But next we're going to be seeing Matt Hardy and Ethan Page versus Hook and Jungle Boy up next in a tag team match. So yeah, that match will be happening up next. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a tag team match. So before the match even started, we see Matt Hardy and Ethan Page come out, and Matt Hardy's theme song is playing. Ethan Page gets mad. He grabs the mic and he goes like, "Damn it, they're playing the wrong song again." And then we see Isaiah Cassidy, and we see Stokely Hathaway. I get onto Isaiah Cassidy because Isaiah was just acting up and all that stuff. So yeah, Ethan Page was like, Matt Hardy better be glad I gave him back the twist of fate and all that stuff. And then Jungle Boy and Hook comes out. So yeah, it was Jungle Boy and the FTW champion Hook, Jungle Hook versus Matt Hardy and Ethan Page in a tag team match. And you know what? It was an okay tag team match. It was going back and forth and everything, but at one point we see Matt Hardy hit the side effect onto Jungle Boy. He waited for him to get back up. He kicks him in the stomach, about to hit the twist of fate onto him up until Ethan Page is telling Matt Hardy to tag him in. So Matt Hardy has to do it because he has to listen to him. So he lets Jungle Boy go. He tags in Ethan Page. Ethan Page comes in there, kicks Jungle Boy in the stomach, setting up for the twist of fate, but Jungle Boy reverses it and locking on the snare trap onto him. Ethan Page was trying to tag in Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy gets pulled off the apron by Hook. Hook is beating Matt Hardy down, and then Ethan Page tapped out. So yeah, Jungle Boy and Hook defeated Matt Hardy and Ethan Page tonight in the tag team match. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. So yeah, that's what happened there. That's why I'll give it 2.5 stars. But yep. And then after that, we see a family therapy with Billy Gunn and the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, the Acclaim, and Austin and Colton Gunn, the Guns. So yeah, all of them having a family therapy. The Guns is upset, obviously, with Billy Gunn being aside with the Acclaim. They got this issue with the Acclaim because, Anthony Bowens, after he got done being injured or whatever, he hit Colton in the back of the head with a crutch and all that stuff. So they've been mad about that, and they was tired of getting called ass boys and all that stuff from Max Caster. They're getting tired of Max Caster's raps. And then Billy Gunn was talking about, hey, why did y'all took the easy way out? And he goes like, and the Guns was like, whoa, what happens to us is your failures. So yeah, that's what he told Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn was upset. And he goes like, well, what do y'all want exactly? And then the Guns was like, we want the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So yeah, that's what happened. But yeah, the Guns are definitely coming after the World Tag Team titles against the Acclaim. So yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, still to come later on tonight in the main event, we'll see Martin Briscoe versus Jay Lethal 1-on-1 later on tonight in the main event. So, and up next, we're going to be seeing Bryan Danielson versus Brian Cage 1-on-1 as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. But before I talk about that match, there was a one segment backstage where we see Renee Paquette interviewing Hangman Adam Page. Adam Page was talking about, well, Renee was like saying that you was very vague in your interview last week, so I'm going to ask you again and all that stuff. And Hangman was talking about, like, he felt bad when he did to John Moxley, but he said he's going to do it again in Ohio. He's going to take him out. So yeah, that's what Adam Page said. And then Willa Yuta comes up interrupting him, and he goes like, well, John Moxley's not, fine tonight, but he will be when he come back in Ohio. And he goes like, you know what? I challenge you in the match again on Rampage. And Adam Page accepts. So yeah, they got a match on Rampage now. But then we get to the next match. It was Bryan Danielson versus 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions, Brian Cage with Prince Nana at ringside. And it was an okay one-on-one match. It was going back and forth and everything. Bryan Danielson was doing pretty good. Brian Cage was doing good as well. He was going back and forth, like I said. Bryan Danielson was beating Cage down. Starts laying in some kicks to the chest onto him and hits a big roundhouse kick onto him upside the head. Pins him, but Cage barely kicking out too. Danielson was trying to lift up his other arm, but he couldn't lift it up. Trying to lift up Cage's arm. And then Danielson eventually somehow got ankle locked onto Brian Cage. Brian Cage fought out of that. Then Bryan Danielson was trying to hit the Psycho knee onto Cage, but Cage catches him in the air, power bombs him into the corner, which almost looks pretty damn dangerous right there. And then he grabs him again, hits another power bomb onto him, but on the mat. And then he lifts him up again for another power bomb, but Danielson rolls over, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Bryan Danielson defeated Brian Cage tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened. It was a pretty good match. It was back and forth and everything, so yeah, really good. But then after the match ended, we see Brian Cage attack Bryan Danielson after the match, beating him down and stuff. The AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF comes walking down, telling Cage to throw Danielson out the ring. He throws him out the ring. MJF grabs a steel chair, tells Cage to put it around his arm. He puts it around Bryan Danielson's arm and runs him into the ring post, laying him out. And then MJF got Cage to throw Danielson back into the ring. MJF gets it back in there, starts beating down Bryan Danielson. He grabs a steel chair, puts it around his arm. He climbs up the second turnbuckle, about to jump off onto the arm, but then Konosuke Takeshita comes down, scaring off MJF. He quickly got out the ring and he starts going at it. Brian Cage, saving Bryan Danielson. Cage was doing pretty good against Konosuke, but Konosuke hits a jumping knee to the face, taking him out the ring. So yeah, that's what happened. Pretty good stuff though. For that match and what happened after the match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's why I'll give it, or 3.5. That's why I'll give it. It was an okay match. So yeah, that's why I'll give it. But up next, we're going to be seeing Toni Storm versus Ruby Soho 1-on-1 up next on Dynamite. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, now before I talk about the next match, which is Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm 1-on-1, we got to talk about one segment now. We see Bryan Danielson backstage in the doctor's room. The doctor's checking on him. Renee Paquette walks in, trying to interview him, and the doctor said, "You ain't going to wrestle." And Bryan Danielson was like, "You ain't going to tell me when I can't never wrestle. I'm going to wrestle either way. I can wrestle with a dislocated arm for a whole hour, and I'll beat every single body else and become the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion." So yeah, that's what he was saying. He said MJF hides behind a mask and all that, talking about all he is a fraud, and he will take away the one thing he cares about the most, and that is the world title. So yeah, that's what Bryan Danielson said about MJF. But then we get to the next match. It was Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm 1-on-1. It was an okay match. It was going back and forth and everything. At the ending, we see Toni Storm hit a German suplex onto Ruby Soho. And then she hits that hip attack onto Soho in the corner, picks her up, and then hits a tornado DDT onto Ruby, pins her 1-2. Ruby barely kicks out 2. Storm then picks up Ruby, about to hit Storm 0 onto her, up until Britt Baker's theme song hits. Britt Baker walks out. Standing on the stage, Toni Storm's distracted. Storm turns around, and then Ruby Soho hits her finish move, Destination Unknown, onto her, and then pins her for the 1-2-3. So yeah, Ruby Soho defeated Toni Storm tonight in a 1-on-1 match. That's what happened. Pretty good match. For that match, I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. So yeah, that's why I'll give that match. But yep, after that, we see the AEW World Heavyweight Champion MJF talking backstage. And MJF was talking about how Bryan Danielson ain't going to have no time to heal up with that arm hurt and all that stuff. And then he says he's going to retain the world title and everything if Bryan Danielson can make it that far. And MJF was talking about how he beat so many people, even Ellen meth head, pretty much. So yeah, Ellen DeGeneres meth head. So yeah, that's what MJF was saying. But then he says that Tony Khan already has a new person to take on Bryan Danielson next week, and they showed the footage, and it was Timothy Thatcher. So yeah, next week on Dynamite, it'll be Bryan Danielson versus Timothy Thatcher 1-on-1 next week on Dynamite. I know that's going to be a good one, so yeah, that match will be happening next week. Pretty good stuff there. But up next, we're going to be seeing Mark Briscoe making his AEW debut. Up next, he'll be taking on Jay Lethal 1-on-1 in the main event. This match is a tribute to Jay Briscoe, who sadly passed away last week. So yeah, the main event will be happening up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a 1-on-1 match. It was the main event. It was Mark Briscoe, which is one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, versus Jay Lethal 1-on-1. And this match is a tribute to Jay Briscoe, who sadly passed away last week. Rest in peace. But yeah, we get to the match, and it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. Mark Briscoe doing some things as well. At one point, they go outside the ring. Mark Briscoe lays Jay Lethal onto the table, and he jumps off the top turnbuckle with the elbow drop onto Jay Lethal through the table and stuff, which was pretty nice. He throws him back into the ring. At one point, he tried to hit the Jay Driller onto him, which is Jay Briscoe's finisher move, but Lethal reverses it by doing like a back body drop into a bridge, pinning him, but Mark kicks out at 2. Both of them going at it. Mark hits a vicious clothesline onto him, picks him up, and hits the Jay Driller onto him, and then pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that's what happened. Really good match. Mark Briscoe defeated Jay Lethal. For that match, I'll give it 4 stars. That's what I'll give it. That was match of the night right there. While Mark Briscoe was pinning Jay Lethal, he pointed to the sky, and it was just really great. He goes up to the camera, telling Jay Briscoe's daughters to keep their heads up and saying that he misses his brother. So yeah, really good stuff. And then on the ramp, we see pretty much everybody from backstage, Tony Khan, bunch of wrestlers, producers, all that stuff, on the stage. And they got Jay Briscoe's, picture and stuff with the date he was born and the date that he died. So yeah, really cool stuff right there. Great stuff. It was great that they brought Mark Briscoe onto the TV, because I know at first they wouldn't allow it, but about damn time Warner Brothers actually done that shit, because that crap's annoying. But yeah, it was good to see Mark Briscoe on TV. Really good. Briscoe defeated Jay Lethal. Really good match. Like I said, match of the night right there. Give that match 4 stars. For tonight's AEW Dynamite, I'll give it 7.5 stars, because it was really good stuff with the tribute for Jay Briscoe and stuff. And they showed a pretty good video package as well with Jay Briscoe. Really great. Go check it out as well. But yeah, that has been my AEW Dynamite reviews. Like, subscribe to TNT Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris. And subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. So I'll be down there in the description box. And I'll see you guys later for my Monday Night Raw reviews. See you guys later. Until then.